Hello, I'm Anna Devilla Singson from Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting or PPCRV. Kami ho ay volunteer organization na nagbibigay pansin sa eleksyon. 32 years na ho kaming nagbabantay ng eleksyon. Nakikita niyo ho kami doon yung PPCRV volunteers nakasuot ng white and blue t-shirts. Kami ho ang mga poll watchers sa lahat ng halalan in the past 32 years. Kami na rin ho ang tumutulong sa inyo para hanapin ang inyong mga presinto. Okay, since 2010 rin, meron kaming bagong job. Kami ho ang gumaganap ng unofficial parallel count upang i-audit kung tama nga ba ang natransmit na boto. Maliban doon, kami ho ay gumaganap ng laganap at widespread na voters education program. Ang aming voters education ngayon ho ay tinatawag na Tibok Pinoy. Bakit ho Tibok Pinoy? Ito ay isang values formation program na umaasang makapagbuo ng modelong Pilipino, huwarang Pilipino. Pero ano nga ba ang isang modelong Pilipino? Nag-conduct ho kami ng isang nationwide survey upang itanong sa mga mamamayang Pilipino kung anong kaugalian ang kailangan taglay ng isang modelong Pilipino. Ang sabi nila, unang-una ang modelong Pilipino ay makadiyos. Siya ay makabayan, siya ay matapat, magalang, matulungin at masipag. Ngayon ho, ang pagtutuunan ng pansin ng ating podcast ay ang pagiging magalang. Maraming aspeto ho ang pagiging magalang. Importante ang maging magalang sa sarili, magalang sa pamayanan, magalang sa pamilya, magalang sa bayan, syempre magalang sa Diyos. Pero isang aspeto rin ng pagpapakita ng galang ay paggalang sa kapaligiran, sa ating environment. Bakit ba mahalaga? To tell us about the importance of respect for the environment, meron ho tayong isang napakatanyag na guest. Ang pangalan ho niya ay si Samira Gutoc. Tanyag na tanyag ho siya sa kanyang area. Peace panel negotiator ho siya. Siya ho ay isa sa 500 most influential Muslims in the world. Siya ho ay binigyan na ng Peace Award ng no less than the United Nations. Napakadaming hong credentials niya, but isang malapit rin sa kanyang puso ang paglalaban para sa kapaligiran at sa environment. In a while, we'll be back and we'll be hearing from Sam Gutoc.
Sa pagpili ng liderato, laging tatandaan, dapat nasa kanya lahat ng katangian na maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas, na maka-Pilipinas, iboto ang maka-Pilipinas, na maka-Pilipinas. Yeah, malinaw ang pananaw sa makabagong bukas, makatwiran at patas pakisama, at higit sa lahat maka-Diyos siya dapat. Sa pagpili ng liderato, laging tatandaan, dapat nasa kanya lahat ng katangian ng maka-Pilipinas, 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 iboto ang maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas.
And we're back. And we're here with Sam Gutoc to talk about respect or pagagalang sa ating kapaligiran. Over to you, Sam.
Yes, Anna. Respect for Mother Earth is also respect to God. Respecting God is implemented to our actions, through our actions in the world. So paano natin gagawin ito? I, for one, believe that everything is entrusted. In Arabic, we call it amana. Lahat ng
amana.
Amana.
Okay.
Trust. Binigay sa atin ang hangin, binigay ng kagamitan, land, sea, and air is trust, entrusted. Even money, in-entrust sa atin, amana. Pinahiram lang sa'yo.
So parang temporary custodians lang tayo ng lahat na nandito sa mundo.
Caretakers of Mother Earth. So ito ay aking sinagawang naging part of the modules at kurso ako sa solid waste management tungkol sa basura na hindi sanang mag-flood sa ating mga streets yung ating kabasurahan, paano i-recycle because it really affects the air pollution or air quality content. So napaka-importante nito. One of the inspirational cases, Ma'am Anna, of the Supreme Court is that young people were able to file a case against DNR Secretary in the case of Ana or Oposa versus Factoran.
How young? How young?
Yung mga bata, generation 11 to 13 years old.
11 to 13
mga bata
year olds.
through a lawyer.
File the case?
Through a lawyer.
Okay.
they expressed their sentiments against this DNR secretary who was to award some permits to cut trees because of a certain project. At sinabi ng mga kabataan, you cannot do that on the basis of intergenerational responsibility.
Intergenerational
Yung word na po yan is very
responsibility.
key. 1980s na kaso.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you imagine, Ana, bata pa sila. 11 onwards teenagers. At naisip nila yung mangyayari sa atin ngayon kung inalaw na maubos yung ating kagubatan. At pwedeng dumadaan na lang yung mga katubigan gaya ng nangyari sa amin sa Sendong,
ngayon, di ba?
nangyari sa Iligan, the worst flooding accused of ang itong mga illegal tree cutting. So napaka-importante ng Oposa versus Factoran case. It reminds that they won. Yes, they won. The young people won. The young people won. And ito po ay inspirasyon ko to lecture around the world or the country about intergenerational responsibility.
Let's talk about intergenerational responsibility. Ano ho ang ibig sabihin nun?
Responsibilidad ng ating mga tao ngayon, kabataan ngayon, na i-look out yung mangyayari sa mga kabataan, mga tao in the future. Intergenerational.
So, magkasama, you have to think forward.
Mamatay na tayo tapos sila naman ang
Ayan
panganak.
yung pagmamana natin sa kanila.
Kung naubos yung kagubatan, sila po yung magmamana nang wala ng madaanan or dadaan ng tubig, yung ragasan ng tubig at masisira yung mga bahay nila. Nangyayari po ngayon. Nangyayari yan ngayon. So, intergenerational responsibility. Responsibilidad ko ngayon, ang kasama ang mga mauuna or mga susunod sa atin na mga henerasyon. Intergenerational responsibility. At napakaraming principal stewardship that are defined in this case. And this is in Sustainable Development Goals as well, Anna, that it reminds us one of the key goals is respecting environment. So napaka-importante that compliant tayo as government and schools with respect to environment. So implementing all this through responsible recycling, reduction, and reusing, 3 Rs. Reuse, reduce, recycle.
Reuse, reduce, recycle.
Yan ang tatlong biblical principles natin sa solid waste management. Do not throw or dump any dirt because may penalty yan na cash penalty na babayaran ka na tao bilang citizenry. So, nasa RA 9003 yan na batas ng Solid Waste Management Act. And of course, wag sirain ang biodiversity, ang katubigan. Do not throw litter on water. So, hindi lang po sa streets, sa physical land, pati-pati sa tubig natin, katubigan. Can you imagine po where I'm from, Anna, is the deepest seas of the world, Sulu Seas.
Okay.
In the Marawi is the second largest lake of the country. Pero hindi natin po yun alam, di ba po? At so, napaka ganda yung ecotourism spot. How will we promote it if tatapunan natin, we will dump garbage.
And you were saying that there is a lake na nade-deplete na. Anong lake ho yun?
Ito yun, yung second largest lake.
The second largest
The
lake?
second largest lake of the country, Lake Lanao.
Bakit ho siya nade-deplete?
The theory of the activists na Save Lake Lanao movement is, and the Lanao claims against power plants, is that because the hydropower is there using up the water, and tayo rin as civilians, residents, are throwing so much garbage, the water quality will erode throughout time at mawawala in the next centuries to come or in the next decades. They even put it at 20 years or 30 years, 50 years actually. So yun po ang advocacy ng itong Save Lake Lanao movement.
Meron ho mga cynic, at siguro mabuti alam ito ng mga bata, no? Meron ho mga cynic na naniniwala lahat ng tubig nare-recycle lang yan. Okay, it degrades, it depletes, mag-evaporate, magiging tubig uli at babalik rin dito sa tubig. Wala naman raw loss or depletion. Ano ho ang masasabi mo sa mga cynic na ganun ho?
Well, I live in an area na hindi po nag-grow basta-basta. When it dries up, it dries up. So nakikita mo talaga yung effect rin. Oo, nakikita ko yan. So it's not cynical. Sana hindi tayo maging cynical that may effect talaga yung ginagawa natin bilang mga tao, yung mga behaviors natin, yung ating mga ginagawa sa ating Mother Earth, and also the heat na nangyayari ngayon, climate change, na kainitan talagang. We used to be the coldest part sa amin sa Barm and Southern Philippines, ang Marawi, which is Baguio of the South.
Baguio
We
of
call
the
it,
South
yes,
is Marawi.
We are 600
Okay.
above sea level.
Oh, okay.
600 feet above sea level. Ngayon, hindi kailangan ng aircon, air fan. Once upon a time, 10 years ago, when
Ngayon?
we need air fans already. Umiinit
Already?
ng umiinit.
Umiinit na.
Umiinit na
Even
rin
if you
po.
are 600 above sea
Yes,
level?
sea level. Umiinit na po. So, kailangan talagang pag-isipan seriously yung ating behaviors that affect the environment.
Okay. So bilang high schooler, ano ang mga behaviors na kailangan palitan para magpakita ng galang sa kapaligiran?
So, may anak ako, 8-year-old. When binibigyan ko siya ng pera, you make sure na ang kinakain mo, binibili mo, ay hindi mo basta-basta tinatapon kasi yung plastic na yan, pwede mo pang gamitin. You can cut off yung inaan lang junk food, pwede mo pang gawin yan na artwork. So, pwede pong i-teach natin sa mga children natin yung mga chichirya na binibilhan nila. In fact, we discourage junk food. Yun ay pwede nilang i-keep at pwede po nilang gamitin
Yan ang
bilang
reuse.
mga
Yan ang reuse.
for future use. Reduce, reuse. So, you reduce garbage and you will reuse it because pwede po palang artwork yan. Kasi minsan, the teachers require that you make artwork eh. So
Ayun ang ginagamit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So actually, nakita ko po yung school sa amin in my location that ginagawa nila ng artwork. It beautifies their environment. They are able to use it into certain mga artwork in their beautification of their classrooms. So yun po yung kinoconnect ko that your purchases can also be they can also be part of something useful to our environment. Don't throw it away. So laki po ng effect yun, ma'am, kasi tonelada ang garbage natin. From every day po, ilang kilograma per family.
Okay.
Pagkain at mga binibili nating kagamitan na pwedeng tinatapon din natin. So the wastage at yung paglabas sa ating doorstep, napakalaki ng kilograms. Count everybody else, tonelada po ang garbage. Nakikita ko yan because minomonitor ko yung garbage truck. So
pagkatapos ini-incinerate yan, di ba?
Hindi dapat po. Dapat po.
Pero di ba yung
because
iba ini-incinerate?
That's bad effect po sa pollution. Opo. It should be in a material recovery facility na sineseparate po si plastic, sineseparate po yung biodegradable and non-biodegradable para po meron pong mekanismo that this can be a way by which yung community can earn from the biodegradables.
Nangyayari ho ba yun?
Yes, ma'am, because the RA 9003, the law requires it. So yun po yung how to implement it from school to the community, from the household to the school, and even the sari-sari stores are briefed na sila rin po dapat sana mag-cooperate in teaching, in yung kanilang ng garbage, pag-implement or pag-segregate ng kanilang garbage.
So kung ako high school student, gusto kong reduce and reuse. Bumili ako ng, kung kunwari bumili ako ng chopsticks, for example.
Yes.
Oh.
Yung gamit na yun, pwede mo pang i-keep. Actually, set aside mo yan. Pwede yun. I keep it.
And then use it for what?
For anything that will require any artwork or anong design or project sa atin sa school.
I remember, naisipan ko yung chopsticks kasi naalala ko yung anak ko, si Gabriel. Biglang isang araw, kumakain ho kami ng Chinese sa bahay. Tapos biglang tumayo. Ang sabi sa akin, I refuse to eat chopsticks because this is degrading the bamboo in China.
Oh.
So I said, okay, we will not use chopsticks na wood. So nagpalabas ako, chopsticks na metal. Sabi ko, Gabriel, this is metal. I refuse to use chopsticks na metal because that is they are using illegal mining practices.
Oh.
Then I said, Gabriel, how are we going to eat? And then he said, oo nga, mami, paano nga ba? So, we ended up kamay-kamayan. Okay?
Wow.
So, mahirap talaga.
Very conscious yung mga kabataan din
yun
ngayon.
sa kabataan galing yun bagong learnings, no? And pati sa bahay ko, noon kasi, ang dami namin paper napkin, mas madali ang paper napkin eh.
Yeah.
Diba? Tapon lang, tapos na. Pinagbawalan rin ni Gabriel. He said, Mommy, if you throw this is paper waste. Tons and tons of paper waste. I said, okay, Gabriel, now we will just use cloth napkins. And then later naman, Mommy, if you use too much soap, that will kill the ilog. I go, so what are we going to use now, baby? He said, maybe better to use the paper rather than, maybe better to use nga the cloth. So I'm just saying that the youth are very,
They're very conscious na sila.
They're very conscious now. They even have Clay Go.
That's
Diba?
true.
So sana they continue to be that way. Ano ho ang bad effects kung hindi natin, siguro this week, they have to understand a little more. Mukhang yung youth now, naintindihan nila yung benefits, no? Ano ba yung bad effects kung hindi natin igalang ang kalikasan? Ano mangyayari?
Yung air pollution po is serious. Air pollution, as nakita natin sa COVID, has an impact sa ating
That is true,
health,
sa lungs natin,
Sa lungs
no?
natin. So yung air content, yung ating air quality has to be connected sa ating behaviors, yung ginagawa
Within
natin.
within the ano ba tayo, within the limits ba tayo dito sa major cities
Sa
in
urban
the Philippines?
centers po, talaga nag-ano na tayo.
Masama sa Maynila,
Violate na
no?
tayo kasi from the airplane po, nakikita ko,
Very
dark
smog na, di ba?
It's smoggy na po eh. So, very high yung warning sa atin as a Philippine, yung mga urban centers natin. So, it's affecting us, yung health natin sa air pollution. Yung garbage, yung effect naman sa garbage pollution is merong effect ito sa mga areas din na near residing sa garbage areas po, ma'am. If we don't control our management of our garbage, sila po yung mga batang living across these garbage areas, we've seen may mga effect din sa kanilang lungs, may effect sa kanilang mga mata, they're prone to diseases as well.
Even their development
Yes
is
po.
affected,
So
right?
iniisip natin, hindi lang tayo yung mga malalayo sa garbage area, dumaan lang yung garbage truck, galit na galit tayo. Sila po rin yung
Ano pa
nakatira.
kaya? Sa
Sila yung mga
payatas,
nakatira.
no?
So these are things that are very direct impact sa community natin.
What about the climate change? Many, meron akong kaibigan, minsan nga nakakainis na hindi talaga ma-convince. Ang isip nila, there's no such thing as climate change. Kasi meron maraming leaders sa Amerika, nagsasabi rin nun, diba? There's no such thing as climate change. Paano natin mapuprove may climate change talaga?
Yun, example ko kanina, very concrete. Kami, Baguio of the South, Chile, napakalamig noon.
Ngayon, mainit na.
10 years ago, yes po. Ngayon, kailangan na ng air fan. Kailangan na ng aircon kasi umiinit ang Baguio of the South. So take it from me na nanggaling ako doon sa Muslim South where it is the highest part of Mindanao at umiinit na po yung portion na yun. That's climate change at work.
That's climate change
That's
at
climate
work.
change at work.
Okay. Tapos yung mga erosion, mga erosion, proof rin yun, di ba? All the flooding.
Yes, all the floodings po. Again, we come from an area where the worst flooding in Mindanao. At dahil doon po, God, thousands of people died. Tulog sila 11 p.m. in the evening and they credit it nga po to that erosion of from the flooding. So napaka-importante po that we are aware and kailangan mag-replant po, tree plant. Ang daming organizations po that are doing this. Let's support these groups like Rotary and JCs and all these organizations.
At ngayon, di ba, may batas na ba that if you cut some trees, you have to replant? Di ba may replanting
Yes,
program
po, pati
na po tayo
tayong students, it's I think a requirement also
Yes.
that we have to go do outreach and do planting.
So, bilang high school students ho,
Bilang yung
ano
scouts.
ang ating advice sa kanila at anong immediate steps na magagawa nila para tulungan ho ang igalang ang ating kapaligiran?
Kailangan po ay magbasa tayo at i-implementa natin. Nakita natin yung damage in the past sa atin. May Pinatubo, may Sendong, may ating mga environmental impact of our environment. Google nyo lang at nakita nyo yung napakaseryosong impact na non-caring of our environment to the thousands of deaths. Hindi na maibabalik. So as young people, these 11 years old of the Oposa case in the 1980s, they struggled through a lawyer to make us remind tayo mga generation ngayon, decades later, that they fought against the highest official, the representative of the president, the environment secretary, that don't cut trees. Don't allow the cutting of trees. High school students yon, mga bata yon. So why not carry on that tradition? Because they fought for us, let us also fight for the future generation.
Ano ho ang pangalan ng case nito? Because maganda sana ho, kung i-research nyo, i-google nyo ho, no? Tignan nyo, ang bilis lang naman, no? Google, instant na eh.
Oposa versus Factoran.
Oposa versus Factoran case ho. Please take a look that. Hindi lang siya landmark case, but ang galing eh, it shows the power of the youth.
Yes.
Imagine, 11 years old, 13 years
Young
old,
people.
na-mobilize at nataob nila at they were able to effect and change legislation dahil nagsama-sama sila, nag-unify. Look at the power of the youth. Hindi ho kayo voiceless, hindi ho kayo powerless. In fact, i-google ninyo, Oposa versus Factoran case. Ako ho, i-google ko mamaya. Pero kayo, mas direkta sa inyo kasi that's your age eh. So sana tignan ninyo at sana you take inspiration from that. Ang dami ho nating natutunan ngayon. Ang isang major takeaway ko ho ay yung intergenerational responsibility. We are responsible not just for our generation now, but we are responsible for what we will leave the future generations. Ano bang ipagmamana natin? Isang masiglang kalikasan, isang masiglang environment, or isang environment na yun mga anak natin mahihirapan maghinga, puro asthma, puro flooding, puro natural calamities brought about by climate change. Ano ba ang ipagmamana natin? Tapos tanungin natin sa ating sarili, ano bang magagawa today? Let's challenge ourselves. As I said, based on the Oposa Factoran case, we are not powerless even as youth. You are the future. This is always what I say. Ang sabi nila, you are the future of the nation. Ang sabi ko, bakit pa kailangan hintayin ang future? Bakit hindi kayo maging change ngayon? Kasi kayang-kaya ninyo eh. Ang magulang nyo nakikinig sa inyo. Ako nga, napalitan ang lahat ng dami-daming bahay sa kagamitan sa bahay ko dahil sa aking anak na sa Gabriel na tumayo at ayaw kumain hanggang palitan ko lahat ng nandun sa table kasi raw hindi sustainable. Pinakikinggan kayo. Use your voice. Don't wait to be the future of the country. You are the present gift of the country. Maraming salamat ho for listening to our podcast on pagiging magalang sa kapaligiran. At lalong-lalong malaking pasasalamat kay Miss Sam dito na isang pinakatanyag na environmentalist. At hindi lang yan, pinakatanyag sa napakaraming other fields as well. We are very honored to have you here. Yun last takeaway ko ho. Magsaliksik ho kayo, i-google ninyo Oposa versus Factoran case. Ako ho, gagawin ko. Challenge ko sa inyo. Kayo ba? Gagawin nyo rin? Thank you so very much for joining us.
Sa pagpili ng liderato, laging tatandaan, dapat nasa kanya lahat ng katangian na maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas, na maka-Pilipinas. Iboto ang maka-Pilipinas, na maka-Pilipinas. Yeah, malinaw ang pananaw sa makabagong bukas, makatwiran at patas pakisama, at higit sa lahat maka-Diyos siya dapat. Sa pagpili ng liderato, laging tatandaan, dapat nasa kanya lahat ng katangian na maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas. Iboto ang maka-Pilipinas, maka-Pilipinas.